Hello and welcome back to Bookmark Chronicles. Today I'm doing an author review. There's a lot of noise happening outside. We're just gonna keep going. We're just gonna ignore it. Today I'm doing an author review of Miss Leigh Bardugo. Whew, and do I have some feelings. So, got my handy dandy notebook here, and so far by Leigh Bardugo I have read 8 novels and 5 novellas. The novels consisted of the entirety of the Grishaverse trilogy, and the 5 novellas were all a part of that trilogy, I believe. I've read the Six of Crows duology, the King of Scars duology, and the first book in the Alex Stern series, Ninth House. I've read both the Grishaverse trilogy and the Six of Crows duology twice, and unfortunately for the Grishaverse trilogy, the second time that I read it, all of my ratings lowered. Second time that I read the Six of Crows duology, my ratings stayed the same. 5 stars for Six of Crows and 4 for Cricket Kingdom. While I had originally purchased all of the Grisha trilogy, Six of Crows, and King of Scars, the only book that I have left is Six of Crows, and in the collector's edition. The rest of them I got rid of. I don't ever plan to read them again, and frankly, many of them were quite disappointing. If you don't already know, Leigh Bardugo did appear on my worst of 2021 3 times and for 3 separate series. I will have that video linked in the cards and in the description for you if you want thoughts on my 3 books that were in that video, but those books were Seed and Storm, King of Scars, and Ninth House, and I will not be continuing that series. There are a lot of things that I do like about Leigh Bardugo's writing, and even though I wouldn't necessarily recommend the Grishaverse trilogy, I think that if you were going to read Six of Crows and King of Scars, it is important to read that series just to get an understanding of the magic system and the different factions of the Grisha. I really did enjoy the world building that she did in that first trilogy, and I was immediately drawn in. I was intrigued. I really just loved everything that she was able to build. Another plus for Bardugo is the crows. I literally love Six of Crows with all of my heart. It is an absolute favorite. I like all of the crows except for one. I don't like Matthias. I will never like Matthias. I did not care about him at all. The only reason that I enjoyed reading anything from Matthias's point of view is that 9 times out of 10 it was linked to Nina. And in addition to the world building, I did really like the magic system. Like I said, I think the Grisha are really cool. I like the different types of magic, and I think this series was the first time I had ever read anything including shadow magic. So I thought all of that was really cool. I like that there was the contrast between Alina and the Darkling, light versus dark, and all of that. But yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I think it's really cool, and as someone who really enjoys fantasy, if the world and the magic grip me, I'm most likely gonna have a good time. Unless you have shitty characters, which is inevitably what ended up happening with the Shadow and Bone trilogy. Unfortunately, that is all of the things that I can name at the moment that I enjoy, so I'm gonna get into some of my dislikes. First of all, as I've learned from reading Goodreads reviews and from my friend Dasha, Bardugo fucked up Russian names. I feel like it can't be unintentional. I feel like she probably had to do research to make comparisons to certain things. So it was like, why wouldn't you follow the rules of the language? And granted, her countries are fictional, but because they are based on very real countries, I think that she should have stuck to the correct pronunciation and spelling of names. The only reason that I read Ninth House was because Robin and Dasha encouraged me to do so. Both of them had read it. I had no intention of reading it. I'm not a dark academia person. I don't give a damn about secret societies and all of that. And so I read it and I was bored. It was boring. The one character that I like the most doesn't come in until like a little after the halfway point to the end. And while the second book does sound interesting because we're finally gonna get some answers to certain things, I don't care enough to attempt to read it. It's just not gonna happen. So, and it's interesting to me because I know that Leigh Bardugo is capable of building such an amazing world from the Grishaverse, but Ninth House just didn't work out for me. Another thing that I disliked about Ninth House was, what was the point of making Alex biracial, where she doesn't really know anything about her heritage, and then she's supposedly like the only non-white person in the secret society, and what was the point? For what? Because it's one thing if she's biracial and she's, you know, trying to hold on to her heritage or to learn more, but she literally doesn't know it. Therefore, her being biracial doesn't really matter. And so for a white woman to make that decision, it just didn't make a lot of sense to me. I mean, unless she's explained it somewhere and I'm just unaware, please let me know, but that just seemed a little weird to me. And Money Ness has talked about this also. It just felt like a weird decision to make. Along those lines, I could not do this video without bringing up the TV show for Shadow and Bone. Yes, I enjoy it. I think it's really cool that this wonderful magic system is being brought to life. However, she got so many people's hopes up when she announced that Alina was going to be biracial. A lot of people were really excited about the representation. And then it turns out that they did it solely for Alina to face unnecessary racism that didn't even exist in the book. And if it had been addressed, it would have made more sense. However, that issue has not yet been addressed. Apparently, Mal is also biracial, but Alina is the only one that faces any sort of racism. If you've read King of Scars and Rule of Wolves, you know that there are some details about another character that will come up soon, and I don't understand why we needed to have both of those storylines when that one was coming later on. So to me, it felt like an unnecessary change. And honestly, it pissed me off, and it pisses me off that neither Leigh Bardugo or Netflix has addressed it. There were also issues with Ineja's stunt double being a white woman and a bunch of other things. So I just hope that they make better decisions going forward, because I do genuinely enjoy the show. I do enjoy the changes. I absolutely fucking hated Mal in the books with a burning fucking passion. He is literally the reason that I hated Season Storm so much. And I like that in the show, they actually made him likable. They took away all of the awful, ridiculous traits that he had and made him a person who you could actually stand to be around. So I will be watching season 2 whenever that comes out, but I really hope that they start making some better decisions, because from the first season you've already made so many mistakes and upset so many viewers, and for what? So I'm not going to get into the books or anything because I don't want to spoil things for anybody, but I am definitely open to talking about them if you have thoughts, feelings, want to know my feelings. Frankly, like I said, Six of Crows is the only book that I currently own by her. I did enjoy the Six of Crows duology. I would never again read the Grishaverse trilogy. King of Scars was a disappointment in so many ways, not only because it was originally marketed as the Nikolai duology, but the storylines just did not work for me. I didn't enjoy a lot of it, which is so unfortunate because I was so excited about it, and the ninth house was just boring. So that's all I'll say about the books. If I had to rate Leigh Bardugo on a 5-star scale, I think I would give her maybe a 2.5 or a 2.75. I'm leaning more towards 2.5 because she has potential. It just was not reached. Like, King of Scars could have been amazing. Ninth House could have been amazing. Shadow and Bone I can give a pass for. It was during that time when YA fantasy trilogies were a big deal and they were chock full of tropes. I hated a lot of the tropes, which is why my ratings got lower, but that I can give a pass. Ninth House though, oh, it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart to give King of Scars a 2-star. But it had to be done. Would I read more by Leigh Bardugo if she released something different? I think I would. There are rumors that there's supposed to be a third Six of Crows book, and honestly, with the ending of Rule of Wolves, that would make sense. So I do think that I would give her another chance. If she wrote more adult fantasy, I'm hesitant to say that I would read it, but I might. It'll depend on the synopsis, and I would wait for it to be released and for reviews to come out. There are just some things that let me down as a reader, and that's just my personal opinion, although I do know that some people feel the same way about King of Scars and Ninth House. But yeah, I think I would read more by her in the future. So let me know what books you have read by Leigh Bardugo, what series is your favorite, and if you agree with me or not. Otherwise, that is all I have for you today, and I'll see you in the next video.